Good afternoon and welcome to Sunday Conversation with your host Chance Busey. This afternoon we will be interviewing the new Student Congress Exec Board for the 2016-2017 school year. Right now we have Rachel Lukowitz. And Rachel, I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, Chance. Like you said, my name is Rachel Lukowitz. I'm a junior from Denver, Colorado. I'm a double major in biology and psychology.
All right. So what are you involved with on campus outside of StuCo?
Well, like you said, I'm involved with StuCo, and believe it or not, that takes up a lot of my time. I'm very committed to this organization. So that's a lot of my extracurricular. I do work in a research lab with Dr. Andrea Holmes. So I do chemistry research as part of the Embry Scholars Program. And I am still involved with aspects of the Hanson Leadership Program. Very
cool. So what is your position on the exec board and what do you do with it?
So my position on Student Congress and on the executive board is as president. And so the president kind of just takes on the advisory role for the Congress and for the executive board. Really, we don't necessarily have a set structure for the advisory board. We have specific positions. So we have a vice president, a treasurer, and a secretary. But really, we kind of delegate tasks. Obviously, Shanna deals with money because she's the treasurer. The vice president usually handles elections and other matters, but we really kind of take things on as a group and handle things as a group. So my job is to oversee the group, ensure that people are completing the tasks, not only on Congress, but on the executive board. That the proper transactions are being made to groups so they can have their money. That we're hosting elections, that we're representing ourselves well, all X, Y, and Z. So really I just kind of oversee that. So I don't really have a specific job other than making sure things are running smoothly and getting done.
All right. And you were reelected this year, so congratulations.
Thank you.
So what do you hope to accomplish for this next year building off of this year?
Yeah, so we got a lot done, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Some of the big things that we've worked on, one, Student Congress has become a much more cohesive and functioning group, I'll say. We have senators that are really, really excited and are constantly working on projects, and we're in really good communication with one another. So that's one thing that I would like to continue working on. That's probably not necessarily seen from the outside, but it's really, really important to have a good functioning group to get things done, believe it or not. Anyway, so that's one of the things is keeping us cohesive, keeping us in communication, keeping us working is something that I'd just like to continue to work on. As far as larger projects that I oversee for us, the executive board is working on creating a scholarship that would be available for seniors to use for graduate school applications or post-professional school applications, whether that's costs for applying to these post-professional schools, costs for taking the test to get into these schools, all of the things. Obviously, we have not figured out the details of how students would apply, how they would be selected. There's a whole suite of things that need to be figured out, but that will be one of our main goals as an executive board. As a Congress, I think there's some bigger goals to continue to work on, but one overall is ensuring that we have an atmosphere here on campus that everybody feels safe and welcome and comfortable being who they are, expressing their beliefs, and doing that. So it's kind of a broader goal that doesn't necessarily have specifics of we have ideas of how we want to accomplish that, but we don't necessarily have a specific strategic plan at this point. So kind of some broad goals at this point.
Well, very cool. Those sound like very noble causes, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for many students when I say good luck.
Thank you. We are saying the same thing.
So what do you think, you guys are doing all this work behind the scenes, what do you think are some common misconceptions students might have about Student Congress?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions, one is that we took away the trays. We did not take away the trays. We did not make that decision. Sorry about the trays. I do not think they're coming back.
Yeah, I was pretty bummed when they were gone, but
yeah,
I don't blame you.
No, we're cutting down on food waste and water waste, which is both really great things to cut down on. But we did not take away the trays, so sorry about that. Another big misconception, I think, is that Student Congress really doesn't do much. And I can see maybe where that misconception has come, because a lot of the work that we do goes unseen and unrecognized. Part of that is being in communication with our administrators, advocating for more money to be put towards student-related things, like being able to send students to national conferences to present their research. We should have money set aside by the college other than student fees that is available for students to use that fund. We have had students come into Congress requesting money to be able to go present their research at a national conference. And those are opportunities our students should have, but that should be department-covered fees. That is not the responsibility of student fees to be covering that. And so we have done some advocating for budgets to be readjusted for that reason, which obviously is something that isn't necessarily seen or publicized or tangible. We have helped implement the safety lights all across campus, so the blue light boxes. We've purchased those and have been working with the safeties office and the facilities office to get those up and around campus. But, again, that's not necessarily something that has our name sprayed all over it or something really tangible. So, the biggest thing that I think people probably think that we do is the meal plan, and really that's just one of the many. Obviously, the meal plan is something that affects students every single day, and so that's why we took that on. That's a big student right and student issue, but we are constantly working on whole new things. I mean, every single meeting we're just jam-packed with things. So I think the biggest misconception is that we just don't really do anything, and I think part of that is some of the things we do are not tangible items necessarily, but they're working on behalf of the students. So I think that's the biggest one, but we do a lot. So
all right. So what else should students know? What do you wish they knew that would help them better understand?
Yeah, one of the biggest things is that our meetings are open to the public anytime. Every Sunday at 5 o'clock, we have a meeting that's open to the public, and we encourage students to come. We have an open forum platform at the end of our meeting where students can express concerns or sit through the entire meeting, and if there's something that they disagree with, that is their time to express that. And that's really important, that we're constantly getting student feedback. While we're made up of 17 individuals who relatively are a broader scheme of campus, we constantly need to be hearing from students from all different backgrounds to make sure that we are acting on their behalf properly. So that's one of the biggest things, is that I'd like to see more students attend our meeting, and they're always, always welcome. Nothing that we ever discuss is ever, private, secret, confidential information. So it's important that students are part of that process also. Another thing is that we have a student forum at doan.edu/student-concerns, and that's where students can submit concerns anonymously, or if you want to attach your name, you can do that. But those are sent directly to the Student Congress email, and we look at those every single meeting. And so that helps us determine plans of what we need to continue to work on, what we need to advocate for, how to address these problems. And so if we're not getting that feedback, there's might be things that don't touch my life like they touch yours, or they touch other students. And so it's just really important that we're in constant communication with the students on what they want changed, because we are the governing body that will do that for them.
All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you for stopping by Sunday Conversation, and congratulations again on getting reelected.
Thank you again.
Again, this was Rachel Lukowitz, the still Student Congress president, going into the 2016-2017 school year. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
On this part of Join the Conversation, we're sitting down with Shanna Havenridge, the new Student Congress treasurer. Shanna, what's your Doan intro?
Hi, my name is Shanna Havenridge. I'm a mathematics and chemistry double major. I'm from Grand Island, Nebraska, and I'm a junior here at Doan.
Very cool. Well, first off, congratulations on being elected Student Congress Treasurer.
Thank you.
So what do you do as the treasurer?
So as the treasurer for Student Congress, I organize a lot of our allocations that we give to clubs, and I organize the budget that we use to spend on different events, and just kind of, it's very similar to a treasurer position in any other group where I just really organize everything from the money side and keep the budget and make sure we're all following the budget according to plan.
Very cool. And this is part of a profile series, both on the OWL and on KDNE. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your involvement here at Doan.
Yeah, so I'm involved in Put On Your Dancing Shoes, or PODS, which will be called the Dance Project next year. I'm also involved in concert band, and I'm in honors. I'm also involved in Waco, Omega Psi Theta alumni, and several things that I just can't think of at the moment.
All right, fair enough. So part of your job as treasurer for Student Congress is dealing with the allocation money. So tell us a little bit about that. Where does that come from? What is it used for?
Yeah, so as a part of paying tuition, every Doan student pays towards student fees as well. And it's that money that we use split between us and SPB and all of those groups that kind of host events and are for the students. And we split off that money, and we use that money to, like I said previously, to allocate for clubs. So like we give a group like $10 a semester per member to host a banquet, so they can have like a nice banquet and sit down and socialize with their group members and stuff like that. And then we also host events, and we'll use that money to host events. And and that's about where our money comes from.
Cool. So when we get this allocation money, what are some specific examples that money can be used for? Yeah,
definitely. So a specific example is kind of like this year. So every year Student Congress hosts Stop Day, and it of course costs money to host some of those events. So like the Meltdown this year in the Fear Field House, we spent some money on that. The food trucks, giving all students that come by a nice Rita's Italian Ice or barbecue, stuff like that. We also spend money on just getting supplies for Stop Day as well, so like the buying balls for dodgeball or just getting all those together. And then specific examples of money for clubs is like the allocation money. So we give everybody like $35 to host a reception for their club, or like host the banquet like I previously stated. We give them money for supplies. We really try and use all of the money that was provided for the students out of tuition to give back to the students. So we try and spend that money on stuff that the students will enjoy, and to help fund the clubs that students are a part of.
Very cool. So what do you think is a common either misconception, or what do you think students just don't know about Student Congress, or specifically funds? What do you think students could be filled in on more?
Yeah, so I think a big misconception is that everybody has to have their allocations ready to go. Like we had our allocations meeting this past Sunday, and all the clubs came in and they were like, we really want to go to this conference and this conference, and they ask us money for it. But I don't think everyone realizes that they can come in at any point in time all year and ask us for help for allocation money. Or we had this group come in and they want to send supplies to our soldiers, so we gave them money to help for shipping costs. And really, if you think that something should be done that students should be involved in that costs money that you don't have, you can come into Student Congress and ask. And, the worst we can say is no. And so I think that's a big misconception, is that everyone's like, oh, Student Congress, I don't want to step in front of them. I don't want to ask for money. But you really can at any time. I mean, that money is used for the students, so that's where we want to see it go to.
Very cool. So what are your hopes and aspirations for students and StuCo for this upcoming school year? Like, what do you hope to accomplish this next year?
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's not a position that really takes action as some other positions. So it's very similar to all the other treasurer positions in clubs and organizations and stuff like that. So I really want this next year. So usually in our student congress meetings, we don't have a treasurer report. And so I really want to add like a treasurer report in there to just say where we're at now, how much money we've spent this week, if any money at all, and where we're sitting in our budget, and kind of just add in something in there so all of Student Congress knows where we're at on the money page and what we can spend on and stuff like that. But also, we don't have a very good transition, I would say. So after taking on this treasurer role, I went to Donna Novak in the business office and asked her, what information do you have? Can you tell me, like, our old budget? Can you tell me how much money we gave each club for allocations in the previous years? Or do you have any information for me as I step into this role? Because we don't really have a treasurer notebook or anything like that. And so I really want to start something just very organized where as I step out of this role, the next treasurer will be able to understand what's going on and step in with an easy transition.
Very cool. Any other comments about the upcoming school year or any other things that students should be aware of?
Yeah, I guess we just had our senator elections, and so I want to thank everybody so much for voting and really thinking about who you wanted, because I think we have a great Congress, and I think we will do great things next year. And make sure if at any time you want to come and say something to us or voice your opinion about something, that you come in and do that, because we're here to listen.
Well, very cool. Well, Shanna, thank you for joining the conversation hosted by Stone Senior Media. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're sitting down with Emily Belak, the new Student Congress Exec Board Secretary. So, Emily, go ahead and give us your Doan intro.
I am a sophomore from Fremont, Nebraska. I am majoring in biology and chemistry, and my plan is to possibly do physical therapy.
Awesome. So what other things outside of Student Congress are you involved with here at Doan?
I'm also involved in the Hanson Leadership Advisory Board, so I'll be the chair for that next year. I'm involved in Newman Club, HMOC, Waco, and Relay for Life this year.
Very cool. Very successful Relay for Life as usual.
Yes, very successful.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And congratulations on getting elected secretary.
Thank you very much.
What does the Student Congress secretary do?
Okay, so they're mainly in charge of taking notes at meetings. So that's just general things, making sure that everything is recorded that needs to be for those who either missed the meeting or need to look back at later. Also, they're in charge of sending out notes, like making sure, like, hey, reminder of the meeting this weekend, or we have this event. Please let me know if you're coming or not, things like that, just to make sure everyone's in check and organized.
Cool. So what are some of the common misconceptions you may feel students have or students have expressed to you? What do they not understand about Student Congress?
I think that a lot of people think that Student Congress is out to get them at some points. We're really trying to represent the student body in the best way that we can. Some misconceptions are like that we took away the trays from the cafeteria. That was just working with Sodexo, things like that. We're trying to kind of be the liaison between the students and the faculty and stuff like that, and trying to keep people as informed as we can.
All right. I know a lot of students a little bit upset with the trays, but
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right. So what do you hope to accomplish as the secretary this year? Like, what's your goal for your role as secretary? What is your plan for this year?
I think my role as secretary, like my goal is to kind of build on what Jordan Atwater did last year. She was a very good secretary and just kind of like following in her steps, and then maybe just continue to do some of that stuff, be more organized, and then also just contributing to the exec board as a whole. So not only being secretary, but during our exec meetings, just bringing good thoughts and conversations about certain things that we will be discussing as a Congress.
All right. And then what else do you think students should know about Student Congress?
I think they need to know that we're approachable. We're representing them for a reason, and we really, really want them to come in at meetings on Sundays, and if they can't do that, just anyone that they know is a senator to please just talk to them about their concerns, because a lot of the times we don't hear about the little things until kind of they get out of hand or until they're a bigger problem. So we do have the student concerns where you can email anonymously or not to the Student Congress email. Those are great ways. Just also in general, just knowing that we are there to represent them and to please feel like they can come into meetings and just know that we're approachable. That's the whole point. Yeah.
All right. Anything else students should be aware of, or any other comments on this upcoming school year?
One exciting thing that we have decided, I don't know if the other exec members have said, but Common Grounds will become a Starbucks next year. So that is official, and that's a very exciting thing. So we were looking with Sodexo, and that was a great option, so we're excited for that next year.
All right. Well, Emily, thank you for stopping by KDNE. Join the conversation. Good luck this next year.
Thank you very much.